My guest today is Jon-Stephen Stansel, social media strategist and author of the 10 Principles of Effective Social Media Marketing. And he's going to answer your questions on this episode. Welcome to Confessions of a Higher Ed Social Media Manager. I'm Li Fowler, award-winning social media professional, author, and podcast host, and a recognized voice across the social media marketing industry. Social media managers are navigating the wild, ever-changing world of higher ed communications, and I'm here to share the real stories and lessons behind the posts. Each episode explores the challenges, strategies, and untold moments that come with running social media accounts in today's digital landscape. Let's get into it. Hey, JS, thanks for coming on the podcast again.
Yeah, so excited to be here.
Yeah, so I think this will be fun because we're doing something a little bit different than the last time you were on, is that we've been collecting questions from our audiences, right? To do like an AMA or AMS style podcast. So I've got some great questions here and we'll just jump into it. Right?
Yeah, I'm stoked. Let's do it.
So this first one is definitely geared toward you, and it's from Rachel, and she asks, when and how did you make the jump to freelance?
This is a long story, and there's a lot of tea involved.
Share.
So I was working in higher ed at a small university here in Arkansas, and to be honest, I was getting burnt out. It was, but I was also spending time trying to build my personal brand because honestly, I started doing that because I felt like I wasn't able to do all the strategies and sort of things that I wanted to do to grow the university accounts. So I was like, well, what if I apply these things to my own account and just see what happens? And on top of that, originally I wanted to go into, go get my PhD and teach. So I was like, publish or perish. So I'm going to go present at conferences. I'm going to go write blog posts. I was published in a peer-reviewed journal, all of these things. And on top of that, like trying to encourage faculty to tweet more. So I would tweet my own stuff. And also as a way of like being in higher ed, dealing with faculty, sometimes you can be like, well, hey, I'm presenting at conferences too. I'm published in a peer-reviewed journal too. So, I know what I'm talking about here.
So true. The academia, right? Aspect of it.
Yeah, I'm also an academic. And I was starting to build a following on Twitter. And like I said, I was getting burnt out. It was the middle of the pandemic, and it was just constant crisis communications. I mean, pretty much from 2016 on, it was just crisis comm. And I felt like I wasn't really able to give input into it. I was just kind of been told, like, post this. And then reading all of the angry parents and all of that stuff and not really able to do anything about it either way, which in some respects I understand that if you've, but again, I was thinking, man, I've been doing this for years. Like my input is, valuable here, and just coming home exhausted and not even coming home. I was working from home, and finally they said, okay, time to come back into the office. And this was before the vaccine had come out or anything. It was kind of felt premature. Yeah. And I was like, okay, well, I've got a private office and we're still doing our meetings on Zoom. It's ridiculous, but okay, whatever. And the week we get back, they're like, pack your things, we're moving into an open office.
Oh.
And my wife's like, no, let's not do that. And she said, look, you've got 10,000 followers on Twitter right now. Up until that point, we had been living just off my salary. She had just gotten a job. She's like, well, why don't we just flip-flop? If you don't get a job, it's, fine.
Amazing.
And I said, all right. And I put my 2 weeks notice in, and I put it out on Twitter that I was looking for a job. And my DMs filled up within 30 minutes of people wanting for interviews.
Amazing.
I was thinking for a full-time job. But one of the requests for an interview was someone who I didn't even know followed me. They were at Prime Video. And they said, hey, I can tell from your Twitter account, social media, you tweet about comic books pretty often, so you're kind of a nerd. We have this new animated series called Invincible coming out soon. Would you like to come on board for like 3 months as a freelancer and work on this account? And I was like, yeah, and you know what? And that buys me 3 months to find a full-time job. And that's a cool opportunity. Let's do it. one thing led to another. The show got picked up for more seasons, and then, other entertainment industry folks started reaching out to me about doing other work there, and it's just been pretty constant ever since. Fingers crossed it stays that way, but that was 5 years ago, and it hasn't slowed yet. So it just shows the power of having that personal brand and putting yourself out there. Build it before you need it.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. I'm glad you mentioned that, because it just is a testament to how important it is to share your own knowledge and sort of build your own brand and reputation as well. So, wow, that's an amazing story.
And that's the thing I tell, like, with students too, is like,
Yeah.
Younger people are told, like, be careful what you post on social media because you never know who's watching. I'm like, don't put that as a negative. Frame that as a positive. Like,
yeah. Well,
you
it
never
depends
know
on
who's watching your content. Yeah, but
yeah, but it's true. That can be a good thing. It's true. Yeah, I love that. I love that point. So our next question is from Day. This is good. This is challenging too. So she says, I manage the Facebook and Instagram of my local concert band. This is a volunteer position that I carve out about 1 to 2 hours per week for, and I post twice a week. And I'm a marketer, but not really a social expert. What advice about content, timing, workflow do you have for someone who cares about the band and respects social as a channel, but only has time to do the bare minimum?
I don't think there's any problem with the bare minimum sometimes on it. Like, especially if you're doing volunteer work a bit. My thing is consistency is better than anything else. Like, if you're, you say, okay, I have this number of hours per week that I can devote to this, just doing that every week, don't feel like you have to post something every day.
Yeah.
Quality over quantity.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just make sure it's regular and consistent. If you try to do too much, you're going to burn yourself out, and people aren't going to really need that content anyway.
Right.
So don't try to hop on every trend. Don't try to do something, all the time. Just make the most of the time that you have available for it.
Yeah.
And you're going to be fine. I think there's so much out there that I think makes people feel like social media has to be just constant and just a giant time suck. But, it is what you devote to it. So, if you've got that time, I think you'll be fine.
Yeah, I agree totally. Just to build on that a little bit, I would just focus in on what you're trying to do for the band. Like, what is the most important thing? Like, are you wanting to introduce the band members? Because that could be some, a feature. Are you trying to publicize events? Because then that could be a regular cadence before the concerts, right? Or
exactly.
Are you, and that brings on a whole bunch of content in itself, because maybe you do a little bit of a live stream during and showcase the music and then publicize the next event. So I would just say, what is your goal? And you don't need a lot of goals, right? Just one goal. Like, what is your one goal, and really just support that one goal.
I've done that with executive leadership before, where
there you go.
I've said, like, okay, I've asked them what their goals are, put it all on a whiteboard, and I said, okay, pick 3.
Yeah.
You can have 3.
Yeah. 3 is a lot. 3 is a lot. Yeah. I think like 3 is perfect, right? But if you're volunteering, like, think 1 is good too.
And everything else just goes to the side. It's all, if you've got time for it, great. If not, it's icing on the cake.
Yeah. Total focus in on that one. Okay. So this is from Daniel. What was your favorite social media moment that you had in your career that made you the proudest of who you've become?
Oh my goodness. I think
interesting question.
I've told this story a few times, but I probably, it's one of the smallest posts I've done. One day I was working on the account for the Prime Video show Invincible, and I saw a post. The guy had posted a photo of his son doing the Invincible pose. It's like, we went to the comic book store, and my son had to do the Invincible pose. And if you haven't seen it, it's like the first issue of the comic book Invincible. He's standing up against a brick wall. He's got his arms like battle pose, and the kid had like the Invincible T-shirt on that looked like the costume.
Oh, so
and
cute.
Granted, the kid's too young to be watching the show, but that's neither here nor there. It's
I
very
wouldn't
violent.
I wouldn't have known
It's
that.
incredibly violent.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
Good show, but yeah, TV mature for sure.
Okay. Parental
great,
advisory.
Yeah. I've told my son, like, well, when you're 16.
Okay.
But I saw the photo and I immediately went to my laptop and photoshopped the kid into the comic book. So instead of the brick wall background, it was like I took Invincible out and put him in the comic book and sent it back. And, I just knowing that I made their day.
Oh, you made their life, I'm sure.
Exactly. Like that's something they'll remember forever and just a really cool thing. That's what I love about working in social media is you have these moments where, and especially working in entertainment now, like we can do those fandoms and they don't know it's me in my home office in Bentonville, Arkansas. They're like, oh, this account, they saw me. I feel seen, and I think that's.
Did you send it back or did you post it?
I posted it as a reply.
Okay.
So it's not, of course, a reply from an account like that gets seen.
Amazing. Yeah, it does.
So that was really cool. And it's just a good feeling. I love when I can do that. And that's the same thing like in higher ed. I love doing that. Like when somebody said they got accepted to the university or they just graduated and you just give them that good feeling. And I think now in entertainment, it's not done as much because and I understand. I've worked on some accounts where I've like had to write a producer to say, hey, can I click like on this fan post? And then others where I've got a lot more liberty.
That still happens. It's true. Yeah.
But when they see, the accounts that can reply back, it's it's a team that works on Invincible. I'm one of a few, but the fans refer to the account owner as Admincible, which I think is just adorable.
Oh, that is that's a huge hat tip to you. Yeah. What a compliment. That's great. So Adair has a question, and I think this is actually a really good question. As the lone social media manager at my university, what are some survival tips you have? It's rough out here.
Oh my goodness. Oh, it is rough. And that's the one reason I'm like, you're a braver person than I am. Cause I was like, I'm out after a while. You got to go touch grass. You've got to give yourself time away from it. Turn your phone off. And this is like basic information. And I wish I could tell people how to touch grass because it's different for everybody, but like, you've just got to give yourself that space. Go for a walk every day. Like, and make that time sacred. Like it is marked off in your calendar. I'm away from my screen at these hours of the day. Mm-hmm. 2, you need to have that communication with your supervisor. They need to understand. They need to have your back, and they need to understand your job. I think that professional development is very important, that you need to be going to conferences, but you need to be encouraging your supervisors to do the same. Like they need to do it. They need to be educated on what it is. And that's a lot easier said than done, but like, not to plug my book, like just put it on their desk.
Yeah,
like that sort of thing.
Yeah, completely. I think that's helpful. Right?
They need to be educating themselves on what you're facing. Then I would also say 3rd, like build that personal brand so you do have the escape route if you need it. Yeah. And then also just don't be afraid to say no and get things off of your plate. Like less is more. Like there's so many people you've got, when you're in higher ed and you're the higher ed social media manager for the university, you've got admissions, you've got advising, you've got alumni, all the A's, and you need that authority to say no. Like every post is an admissions post. Every post is an alumni post. That's right. You'll get even if it's not directly about you, it's helping you. Like you need to cool it. You're going to get your own. Yeah. You maybe not put it that bluntly. I'm not in it anymore, so I can. You might be a little more diplomatic than me, but like,
I don't know.
You can't be everything to everybody posting every 5 minutes. It just doesn't work that way.
Yeah, I appreciate the straight talk, I think. And and just to add on that, I think that it's really important. And I'm doing this exercise right now, too, because I am still working in higher ed. So I'm really taking a look at some of the things that I can stop doing. Like what are the must do's and what are like the nice to do's, and look at the things that you can take off your plate. And I would say even during these times where it's very sparse and it's rough, like just continue to make a business case to build a team. Like start having that conversation now, because then hopefully you'll have one in 2 years or 3. Like you'll have a strategist or a manager, or you can start to build out your team. I think it's never too soon to have that conversation.
And you're never going to get a team unless you start doing that.
Oh,
you
that's
start thinking
right.
about those sort of
Yes.
things. Like,
yes.
And if you're doing all of the work, there's no reason for them to hire a team. I got smacked down on Threads the other day for talking about smack about Canva. I wasn't even talking about smack about it. I was just, but like, I have no problem with it. But I was saying that, hey, if you use Canva every day for your job, you should probably take the time to learn Adobe Suite and professional level tools. If you enjoy it, like level up to the next thing. That's awesome. And people, of course, took that as like me dogging on Canva. But they're like, well, we don't have the budget for that. And we don't have a budget for a graphic designer. It's like, you don't, because you're doing all of it.
Yeah.
Because it's still getting done. If you want a graphic designer, stop making stuff on Canva and say, I can't do this. This is not my job. We need to hire a designer. And you're going to get better quality work for it, because graphic design is a profession that you actually go to school for. But your boss and people above you are never going to go, you know what? We should hire a graphic designer for our social media stuff, because, this is, they're not going to do that because they see the job getting done and it's not your job to do.
Right.
So,
but that's why it's like, we should always be educating upward, and then make that business case now. And if you can, like, I really think that you need to like even if you are a person of one, you need to build a solid backup plan. So even if it's like someone on your team, even if that person's your supervisor, even if it's like have someone be able to do your work when you're not there, so you can really, have meaningful time off. I think that's really, really crucial as well.
And build a network of other higher ed social media managers that you can just, because nobody understands it till you're in the chair.
Totally.
Like you need other people that you can reach out to just to say, oh man, I'm having a time. It's rough out here. And that actually gets it and has been there before and understands it.
Yeah. I feel like that's part of how we got acquainted, JS.
Exactly.
A long time ago, we kind of saw each other's posts and we were like, wait, he gets me. Here is a really good question from Christine. And she asks, is it really necessary to post at specific times, even when the algorithms are interest-based and not chronological?
Yeah. I mean, as long as you're not posting at like 3 a.m., you're good. Actually, post at 3 a.m. This has happened to me. Let me tell you this story.
Yeah.
So way back in the day when I was at Texas State University, I accidentally scheduled a post to go out at 3:30 a.m. and not 3:30 p.m. Mm-hmm. And it went up overnight while I was asleep. And it did gangbusters because guess what? Students stay up late, And, I started and I would not advise anyone. I was early on in my career and I was eager to please. And so I started scheduling late night post and setting an alarm 5 minutes before they went up so I could see the responses and answer questions.
Wow.
Don't do that.
No. Yeah.
That's way too much. But to answer the question, it doesn't really matter what time you post. And that's what's so frustrating, though, is you do need to pay attention because things are so algorithmic now.
Yeah.
If there is a date involved and a deadline involved, you need to do that way beforehand.
Or write the date inside the post, because people will think it's current and it may not be current, right?
Exactly.
But I agree. I don't think it matters. And again, remember, the whole other side of the globe is awake when you're sleeping. Mm-hmm. And so if you're trying to reach audiences on the other side of the planet, I think it's fine to try to do overnight posts. Yeah. Just schedule them and don't wake up early.
Don't do that. Don't do that. That was if I could go back and tell myself, dude, why are you doing that? Stop it. You're not even making $50,000 a year.
I mean,
Stop it.
Yeah. In fairness, I think then we were just excited
Yeah.
about what the tool was and what we were doing. And so I think partially it was for us, right? Because we
Yeah.
wanted to know how well it did, but not anymore. No.
No, not going to do that.
Yeah. Let's take a quick pause for a word from our sponsor. Southeast Missouri State University needed to launch more targeted campaigns faster, yet they were bogged down by manual campaign builds, slow approvals, and vendor overload. With Element 451, they eliminated 5 vendor tools and gained marketing superpowers in one platform. They saw a 13% increase in applications, processed applications within 2 days, and achieved 33 to 35% email open rates. The impact? Personalized, automated campaigns running at scale without the drag. Ready to turn your next campaign around in hours and not weeks? Try an agent today at element451.com/agents. So Christine, just post whenever you think.
Post good content when you have good content.
Yeah,
to
when you're
post.
ready
Like,
to post. Exactly. Yeah. So Garrett asks, what explanation have you found most effective at elevating social media perception from silly memes to complex marketing? Bonus, how does that explanation differ from the general public versus marketers versus executives?
Oh man, how much time do we have? Because I could go on about this all day. Especially as someone who is now like I'm a professional like meme poster. Like I do a lot of meme marketing, and how do I explain to people like funny is like my wife is a corporate accountant, and I'm like, hey, look at this meme I made today for work, and she's like, yeah, that's nice, dear.
She's like, oh, that's really nice.
Let me get back to my spreadsheets here from this multi-billion-dollar company. I think people see that on the surface. That's like the tip of the iceberg, right?
Right.
That's what gets noticed is the trends and the memes, and they don't see the work that goes into it too. Yeah. Because I want to talk, we talk about being humorous. Humor is a skill that takes time to develop.
Yeah.
For every meme that you see on like the Invincible account, there's probably half a dozen that I make that get rejected, and another half dozen that I make that I don't even have the courage to show the team. And of course, there are those that just like hit me, and I'm like, bam, Yeah. But
there's like a lot of discovery and research and time and
knowing my audience,
timing. Yes,
timing, everything that goes into that. But also, people don't see all of the other things that aren't so fun, right? All of the research, going through the data, like actually making a plan, like developing a brand voice and identity and all of these other things. So I think it comes down to education and like actually showing your work, meeting with your boss and saying, hey, here's what I did. Here's all the documentation. Here's everything that went into that. So they know that you're not just sitting there twiddling your thumbs until the next trend comes along and just making a joke. There's so much more in depth that goes to it. And I think that's another reason why, I'd recommend if you're in higher ed, like, do the academic thing, go out and speak at conferences, go out and do these things so people recognize that your work is serious and not because people tend to see the fun stuff and that's all they remember. They don't remember the crisis comms that you did, right? They don't remember when you're like the person in there telling them, hey, I was doing social listening and I just found this thing that's going to be a problem for us. And being that early warning system. They don't see, that you on commencement day at home, frantically typing congratulations to everyone who posts their graduation pictures. Yeah. Those are the things that need to be, go do one thing I would do presentations on once every semester on campus. I would do like a social media training for the university. Like, you want to know what we're doing? Come talk. I'll give a presentation and tell you.
That's actually a great idea and has been helpful and worked for a lot of people. But I do wonder. So what would be your elevator pitch? Say your elevator pitch, and you're caught in an elevator with a marketer, or maybe it's or executive, and they're just like, oh, social media, like that's work. Like say they say an off.
I've gotten
comment.
that.
What do you say? Like, do you say like, actually it's a multi-billion-dollar industry that takes a lot of sophistication? I mean,
I asked them like, where do you get your news from? Are you know, like, how many times have you watched? I mean, if you don't get your news from social media, which I hope you don't totally, I hope you get other sources. But like, how many times do you watch CNN and go? They say today on X, which so and so said blah 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 blah. It's not a tertiary thing anymore. It's where things it's where news happens. It's where the world happens.
Yeah.
Now, so
talk about it being mainstream. It's
Right.
actually not subsidiary or secondary. It's actually, like, I think social media is the internet.
it used to be if it's in print, it's real.
Yeah.
Now, if it's in print, it's not. Like,
Yeah.
if it's only print.
Don't send it to me. Give me the digital version.
If you're writing an article about a notable alumnus or whatever, and it's just in print, they can't share that. They want it so they can like put it on their LinkedIn and they share it with their friends. Like, it's got to be there, or it doesn't. If it doesn't happen online, it didn't happen.
That's a great point. Yeah, that people want to share it. Like, they can't show that magazine.
That happened. That same exact thing happened to me, and it was like the people that we had written about in the magazine were taking pictures of the magazine and posting it. And it's like, we need a digital format that they can share. Because it's not doing any good this way.
I think for maybe public, the mainstream, if you say, hey, where are you getting your news? Like, how are you sharing content? Like, everything is mainstream. I think maybe for the public that works. And for executives, maybe you share more like ROI, like numbers, like and data. Like, do you know our online audience is this? I mean, maybe like just have data. And but the marketers one is the one where I'm scratching my head, because
if a marketer doesn't know, they don't need to be in marketing.
Yeah. Yes. Enough said.
I think in marketing, we always tend to think whatever subgenre of marketing we are in is the most important. Which, why would you not?
Yeah.
But I don't think we can dismiss any other outlet. I didn't mean to sound dismissive of print earlier, but it's like you need both. If you write an article about me, I want the print version to frame and put on my wall, and I want the digital version to put on my Twitter. For general public or even executives, if they dismiss you, like, ask them to pull out their phone and check their usage data of like what apps they're using the most. I guarantee you,
that
a social network is going to be in the
great
top 3, if not the very top.
That is such a good point. And of course, do it in a very respectful and collegial way. Because I could easily find snark in my probably my my voice and tone in that. But if you can do it, that's a really, really great, in a professional collegial way. That's a great point to make. And for marketers, I would almost ask, like, do you remember the last Super Bowl ads? Like, they all led to an app, or they all led from social. They were all informed by social, right? Like, like Eminem ads started on social, and then they culminated to the Super Bowl ad, which wasn't, in my opinion, not very great. But that's how they did it, right? I feel like it's all interchanged now.
More people watch a Mr. Beast YouTube video than all of the Super Bowl.
That's a good data point in itself.
Yeah. Every video he posts gets more views than the average Super Bowl. That's unreal. And like, I guarantee you, I'm guessing your college president has probably not watched a Mr. Beast video, but like,
that's probably a safe assumption, but our audience probably is,
exactly.
Right? But I think data, right? Having these data points in your pocket to just say, like, did you know? Because you can, in an elevator, you can have that conversation and make your point in 4 floors,
exactly,
and leave that person thinking, right? So. Well, Garrett, thank you for that question. It's made us think a little bit. Okay, so Emily asks, when a platform has thousands of followers that accumulated over nearly 2 decades, how do you continue to engage with them as well as welcome new followers, like legacy versus new?
This is one I'm actually dealing with. So working on Invincible, the comic book has been around for over 20 years now.
Yeah.
And the show's still relatively new. So when the show first came out, the first season was released, it was mainly fans of the comic book before the word of mouth spread. And it's really grown and gotten extremely popular. So that first season, it was mainly catering to people who were familiar with the property, excited about it coming out, and we could make a lot of deep cut inside jokes and things like that.
So the fandom of the
Towards
magazine.
spoilers and things like that. But now we're starting to see like more people are coming to it through the show, and and also making sure those fans kind of mesh, because in some of those conversations, the worst thing we can do is post a spoiler. We never want to do that. But also, if you read our comments, people who have read the comic book know what's going to happen in the show. So they're like, oh, I read a spoiler in the comments, So trying to get the legacy fans to help the newer fans, to welcome them into the fandom, to say, oh, hey, are you excited about that? And especially, there's a lot of questions like, oh, should I read the comic or, wait, blah, blah. And trying to foster those conversations in a neutral way and empower the older fans to welcome the newer ones. And also let the newer ones give that a little bit of space to the older fans to like discuss, some finer nuance. And that can be challenged because like you're just mixing these very different but similar audiences. And I think it's the same way with the university. You've got, somebody who went to the school 20 years ago and incoming freshmen. Like, how do we meet the needs of both of those audiences? And I think, like I said earlier, like every post is an admissions post, every post is an alumni post. Think of it that way of like, okay, yeah, an alumni is going to see the beautiful fountain picture that you posted and think fond memories of their time there. How do we connect those two?
I agree. It's just community, right? It's like, I feel like, especially, from the higher ed perspective, I think that those who might be interested, who like are a part of our community or who would be interested in becoming a part of our community, there's like certain things we all sort of underlyingly have in common, like research and science and math jokes. And I mean, those are sort of like what we all love. And so I think if you stay true to what you are and what your culture is and what your personality is. And I think I really liked what you said about supporting your community members to have those and really sort of and allowing them space to have those conversations, I think is really a really interesting thought. And I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure, like, you definitely don't judge and you don't budge and you don't point fingers if someone might, like, accidentally say a spoiler, right?
Right.
So how do you nurture those conversations?
For us, it comes to, like, being part of those conversations.
Okay.
And sometimes kind of, like, we can't say anything that reveals, even though it's, like, you're going to read if you read the comics, like, the story's out there, but we never do that. We might wink a little bit, like, yeah, you like this character? Just wait until you see this one. Wait a few weeks and
that's a good approach,
sort of thing. We can do and kind of have that nod and a wink, and sometimes point out those little fan favorite hidden Easter eggs and things like that.
I love Easter eggs.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love a good
too.
Easter egg, Even if I don't get it, I start doing research to get it. And I think that's, that piqued my curiosity. So
exactly.
I love a good Easter egg.
And you can do Easter eggs in higher ed. You can, you can sneak
totally.
little things into your content and just pepper it with that. And people love those little details.
Inside jokes, inside lore.
I harp on a brand voice so much is because that allows you to insert those things, to use those words that maybe only someone who went to MIT would, be familiar with, that pun, that campus event.
But you like to share with the rest of the world. And like I just said about the Easter eggs, if I don't get it, I do research to find out because I'm curious. The same thing with those inside jokes and those like inside terminology. Like if anyone out, like if is not a part of your community is curious, they can do a search into it and discover this whole other thing about your culture that they didn't know before, which
exactly.
Pretty cool.
And that just gets them in even further.
That's what I think.
Just pulls them in.
That's what I think too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Lean into what makes you you. Maya asks if you could create a new something that doesn't already exist tool, product, solution for social media managers, what would it be? I feel like you posted something
I
recently.
did. I did.
Okay.
And I
Yeah.
have the exact answer. I don't know how useful it'll be for higher ed folks, but for freelancers, you don't get to pick your own tools. Like, I love various products. I love Hootsuite. I love Slack. I don't think I have two clients on the same platform. So like
Yeah.
one's on Hootsuite, one's on Sprout, one's on Heyorka. One uses Teams. One we have meetings on Zoom. One we have meetings on
Like Google Meets, like
Google
it's
Meet.
all
I
over.
have like 15 email aliases because I have to have
Wow.
their email alias to log into something, and if I could find something that would consolidate all of that, pull from Hootsuite and pull from Sprout into one sort of thing, and rather
Hmm.
than try to remember all of my logins, to all, like, oh, does this client prefer to have their meetings on Zoom versus Google Meet? Does this client,
Yeah.
I mean, my email and my calendar all sync like that, right? It doesn't matter if you're on Outlook or Gmail, I can still accept calendar invites and get email from you. Why can I not,
Yeah.
have a Basecamp or
I,
Notion do something like that?
yeah, totally.
It's just so frustrating because like I have to have like 50 windows open and it's so much mental bandwidth is going to that could be used for creativity and other things. And it just leaves so much room for error. Like to forget what you're doing and move on to the next thing. So that would be the tool I would want more than anything else. Or even we talked about like Canva and Adobe and things like that. Like if somebody sends me a Canva file, I would like to be able to put it as a layered file into Adobe and edit it there, or vice
Mhm.
versa. Like it's just more compatibility among the tools because we're using so many of them.
Well, okay, listeners, if you have this ability, build it and
$1 million idea. Like
build it.
I will be an influencer
Support.
for you if you do that.
I
I
was just
will.
gonna say, I think you have a built-in influencer in JS. That'll give you a head start. No, I think that's a fantastic idea for a tool. I'm in on that. So this last question is a little forward thinking. This is from Dragon. What does the AI assisted social media manager look like in 2026?
Oh, I wish I knew. I wish I knew. This was going to be my confession. Can this be my confession at the
Yeah,
end of the
okay,
show?
yes.
Try as I might, and Jamie Hunn's going to kill me when she hears this, but like, I just cannot get excited about AI. I want to be.
So you're not the first. You're not the first. And can I tell you what my answer to this question is? I think human. Like I don't think that the AI assisted manager in 2026 looks any different than the current manager that is cultivating community and creating content and doing strategy. I think maybe they use AI to help them process data, like do back end stuff. I don't think you're seeing anything in the front. Like you're not going to
Yeah.
see any, AI created videos coming from MIT.
I think we're going to see it for sure, but we're going to know it when we see it. And honestly, I was thinking about this the other day. And again, no, no offense to the AI enthusiast out there, because I think I know there's potential behind it, and I feel like to me it feels very much like the early days of the internet, where it was like,
Yeah.
we know this is going to be important. I just don't have a personal use for it yet. But I was thinking this is okay. I think boomers are more excited about AI than Gen Z is. I think Gen Z is like they see like an AI picture and they're like, yeah, you used AI to make. We know how to do it. There's no magic to it to us.
Yeah.
We're using it to cheat on our homework. Okay, boomer, you made an image of a unicorn or something. Who cares?
That is an interesting observation.
And like that's the reason, like they, in the entertainment industry, if they suspect something is AI generated content, they will call you out on it. You are
Right.
done.
That's the thing. So I wonder if it's because they don't recognize it as quickly that it's AI. I don't know.
Yeah, I
I'm just
don't know.
throwing it
Or
out
they're
there.
just like to me, it feels very parlor tricky. Like I type in, oh, I want an image of blah, blah, blah. And like my mom loves it. She's like, oh, I wanted a picture of this and I got it, I'm like, well, yeah, but it's You know,
That's a good observation.
I remember when I was like in high school, made like a movie in iMovie, and like my grandparents thought I was like Martin Scorsese or something. Like,
Yes, it's the technology that's very exciting for them.
right. So, but anyhow, what to answer the question though, I agree with you. I think it's going to be human. I think it's going to be stuff on the back end. It's going to try, that's what I want it for. I don't want it to create content. I don't want it to brainstorm content for me. I know everybody will say like, I think it can help, but like part of me, I'm greedy. When I post something, I want to be able to look at it and go, that was my idea. That came from my brain. I gave birth to that. That's why I get paid. Like, I think my ideas are better than AI's ideas. What I would like it to do is all that nitty gritty little work. Like, I want it to compile that data. I want it to like take all of the tweets that I made for the brand, put them into a spreadsheet, because Excel and Google Sheets just make my eyes just blur over.
Right.
And put it in there with all the data. And that way I can send it off to the people that actually enjoy looking at spreadsheets.
AI will do that for you, right? Those are the things I agree that it's best utilized for at the present moment.
It's not that I haven't given it the college try. Like I've gone, and tried to find ways to like integrate it into my work. And I've even like, sometimes I've like been stuck on an idea and I'm just like, okay, let me go to Chat. And then I look at ChatGPT. I'm like, no.
This is not any better.
No.
I know. That's happened to me too. But sometimes it gets me unstuck. There, like anything to help you get unstuck,
But to each their own. Like everybody works a little differently and uses what inspires you or whatnot. But I still like seeing my work on there and going, you know what, I made that,
And I thought of that. That was my brainchild. Actually, thinking of brainchild, you are newly minted author of the 10 Principles of Effective Social Media Marketing. And if you thought any of the tidbits that JS just gave us were really, really good, I'm telling you, you will find his book to be a wealth of knowledge. And JS, it's like available anywhere books are sold?
Anywhere
right?
books are sold. Amazon for my publisher Kogan page. It's you can order it from Target. Which
I know, it's wild, right?
That's when I first saw it. My aunt texted me like before the book came out, like months. She was like, "We can buy your book at Target." I'm like, well, not at Target, but you can
order it from Target. Yeah, it's wild. Just a quick note, actually, like JS and I have the same publisher, and I actually think our books are very complementary of each other. So I wrote like organic social media, building a social media strategy, being a social media professional. It complements JS's very specific, must-haves or essentials in just being successful at social media marketing. Do you think in an elevator pitch I did that okay?
Perfectly. Yes.
So I am thrilled. Congratulations on your book launch. I know that's a very, very big deal.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to hear what people think of it, and I'm glad to have it written for sure. It's a labor of love.
Yeah, for sure. And really, thank you for sharing your insights and your advice with us today.
Of course. Always enjoy having a conversation with you.
Thanks for listening to Confessions of a Higher Ed Social Media Manager. This show is a proud member of the Enrollify network, home to Higher Ed's largest collection of podcasts. Enrollify is where higher ed goes to grow, so be sure to check out our other podcasts, webinars, video clips, blogs, and more. Visit Enrollify.org and subscribe for all the latest details and content drops directly to your inbox. Enrollify is brought to you by Element 451, the digital workforce platform for higher ed. Learn more at element451.com.